Hi Scorpio, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your January 2021 tarot reading. Hope you guys are having a good holiday season and a happy new year. As far as personal readings go, I'm going to be bringing those back officially in January, but of course I'm recording this in December. So when I officially get to January and start them up again, I'll make an update on the channel. As far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always. And I also pulled a couple of Oracle cards for you guys and a Mudra card. So with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Two of Swords in reverse. So this is actually Libra energy, which for you guys is your 12th house. And usually it represents struggling to make a decision around a situation. What always stands out to me with the artwork here is, for one, there's the water in the background, which to me represents emotions. The moon also represents emotions, and she has her back turned to them and also blindfolds on. So this could have just been a decision you guys were struggling to make, trying to keep your emotions completely out of it and make it strictly based on logic. But with this coming up in reverse, it could just be saying that you guys actually finally have arrived at your decision. And in the challenger obstacle position, we have the Ace of Wands. So for this to come up in the challenge position, it could just be saying that, okay, mentally you've arrived at your decision, but now the next step is to actually just take action regarding that decision, So it could just be saying that that's that little in-between time to where you're like, okay, I'm solid, I'm firm with my decision. Now it's just a matter of you guys actually taking action toward it. In the foundation position, we have the Sun. So to me, it looks like whatever this is, it looks like it has the potential for you guys to really be happy with the end result. So, the Sun usually represents the energy of playfulness, possibly getting some recognition, being in the spotlight in some way. But overall, just doing something that makes you happy. And through the month of, a good chunk of the month anyway, of January, we're going to have the Sun in Capricorn, which is your third house of communication. And for a long time, you guys had Saturn in there, so that was a pretty heavy transit to go through as far as communication goes. So it could just be as simple as that. Maybe now that you have Saturn out of your sign, out of that sign, rather, by the time we get into January, could just be saying that, okay, anything you might have been struggling to communicate, you might actually find a lot easier now. All right, and in the past position, we have the World in reverse. So usually the World represents completions. I usually view it as a North Node energy. Also has that Capricorn vibe to it, Saturn vibe. So with this coming up in reverse, could just be saying that this was something, that karmically you did need to actually make some kind of a move on. And with this coming up in reverse, could have just been saying that you were struggling to do so. In the present position, we have the Magician, the Eight of Cups, which is Pisces energy, and the Ten of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy. So to me, in the most basic, simple way possible, it looks like it's saying, all of the tools are at your disposal for you to manifest whatever this is that you wanted to move toward. And for me, it looks like it's saying that you guys might just be leaving behind a situation that you found to be a bit burdensome. For some of you, could have been around finances, since that Sagittarius energy there, possibly creative projects, since we see Pisces energy there. But regardless what it is you're leaving behind, it looks like it's definitely something that you might have found to be a bit of a burden, and you're just looking for something that's more fulfilling to you on an emotional level. In the near future position, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So at the time of recording this, it hasn't moved on yet, but Wheel of Fortune, representing Jupiter is also going to be moving out of Capricorn, and it's going to move into Aquarius. So by the time we get into January, it'll already be there. So for some of you, this could even be around possibly wanting to move, and now having that Jupiter energy move into your fourth house, that could actually help you get the ball rolling. So that could have been what was holding you guys up. And for some of you, if that's the case, I have a feeling it'd probably be a pretty big move, given that we do see the world card in the past. So I don't think it's, just moving to the other side of town. I feel like this would be a much bigger move than that. But can be around anything. Could just be saying that with that shift in energy, that might actually help you guys get moving forward on whatever it was that you were hoping to leave behind. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Two of Cups. So it's definitely at the very least possible that this can represent you guys maybe leaving a romantic connection behind, given that this is in reverse. Or possibly just even coming to that realization that you and this person weren't seeing eye to eye, right? Because if we look here in the upright, it looks like they're seeing eye to eye. They're both bringing something to the table. There's a lot of fairness and balance within the connection. So with that in reverse, could just be, like I said, either you coming to the realization that that's not how the connection's working for you, or just coming to the realization that you don't want to put that effort in. All right, in the environment position, we have the Emperor, which is the major arcana card for Aries. And we have the Page of Cups. So actually, I did the reading for Cancer earlier, and they actually had these exact two cards, if I'm not mistaken, in this position, which is kind of weird. I mean, none of the rest of the reading looks like it at all, but if you're dealing with a Cancer, or if you have Cancer in your chart, you might want to check out their reading. But yeah, that aside, this representing Aries energy, of course, for you guys, that is your sixth house. So for some of you, this can be around a work situation. So maybe it's a work environment that you felt, you might not have been treated fairly. So maybe you're deciding to move on to another job. That's one way it could be playing out. But just in general, especially given the fact that Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars will be moving into your opposite sign pretty early on in January. I could just be pointing to that as well with around relationships, or maybe you're realizing that, what, the situation I'm in, maybe it's not as fulfilling as I thought it was, right? Maybe they even presented it to be something that it wasn't, right? So they might have presented it as, oh yeah, we're going to totally do this long-term stable thing, but really with that Page of Cups energy, yeah, there might have been some sincerity in the effort, but they just might not have been able to come through in some way. And let me see what else comes to mind with this. Yeah, nothing else really. But yeah, like I said, definitely if you have Cancer in your chart or are dealing with one, you might want to check out their reading, because I shuffled really good. So that's pretty impressive that those exact same cards came up in that spot. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Three of Cups. Well, actually, that is Cancer energy too, speaking of which, but here, I feel like this is saying, this represents that celebratory energy, usually represents reconnecting with possibly even siblings. If not siblings, then, friends you might have known for a very long time. That's usually how I view the Three of Cups energy. So again, going along with what I was seeing with the Sun card and the Foundation, whatever this decision you're making is, it looks like it will actually make you happy in the long run. And with that said, in the outcome position, we have the Three of Swords. So quite a different energy from the Three of Cups. Now, how I'm reading this for most of you, just given the overall spread, this would point to possibly the person that you're leaving behind. Obviously, this could be pointing to their energy. For some of you, there could even be some guilt around leaving the connection behind. Like I said, maybe if it was a workplace that you've just been at for years, and maybe you feel bad for the other employees now because, you understand that, hey, I did a lot of work in that place, so when I leave, they're going to be stuck with my work. Just one super generic way that the energy could be playing out. Now, I do have to say, for some of you, this can point to possibly you feeling this way as well, just flat out. And that brings to mind the fact that, like I was saying, obviously we're going to have Jupiter and Saturn moving through Aquarius, and in January, they're both going to make tense aspects with Mars and Uranus in your opposite sign. So this could even be a situation where you might leave a connection behind, thinking that, what, this is just a burden, I can't deal with this anymore. You might leave the connection behind, And then actually, after a little bit of time has passed, realize, oh wow, you know what, maybe this connection does mean more to me than I thought, you know. So that's one way it could play out. And that can happen sometimes with Uranus transits. I think it was Taurus I was telling recently the same story as far as they have Uranus in their sign. And I was pointing out to them that that Uranus energy could sometimes be like that friend you have that'll egg you on to try something that you always wanted to try, but you know, you just weren't quite sure if you wanted to do it. And they might egg you on to try it. And the good thing about Uranus energy is it might not always pan out, but at least you finally get the what ifs out of your mind, you know, which those could be in the long term a bigger deal than just actually trying it. Sometimes you might find, wow, yeah, that was totally the right move. I'm glad I did it. Other times you might realize, yeah, that was totally not the right move, but at the same time, at least you'll have those what ifs out of your mind, and that could help clear a lot of clutter for you guys too. So that could definitely be a connection going on there. Bottom of the deck, we have Knight of Cups. So yeah, whatever this is, there is certainly the potential that this could be a bit of a temporary thing, you know, where you might just feel like, all right, I need the space, right? And that could actually help some of you at the very least realize that, okay, maybe this is better than I thought, right? So something to keep in mind there. But yeah, I still feel like for a pretty big percentage of you, though, this would represent the other person who's being left behind. And speaking of which, you know, like let's say if it is a romantic scenario, could just be saying that this could be someone who, you know, might put on that front on the surface of being, you know, very tough, but underneath it all, they could definitely be a lot more sensitive than they like to show. So obviously, if you did leave them behind, then we could see where that Three of Swords energy could come into play in that regard. All right, moving on to the Oracle cards. Actually, I do have to say this card here actually also came up as Cancer's Oracle card. So their other two were totally different, but seeing a couple of synchronicities now between the two readings. So once again, if you're dealing with a Cancer or if you have that in your chart, definitely check out that reading. But yeah, card we have here is Round and Round. There's the artwork, and the number is 25. All right. Under essential meanings, it says the spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated, cycles you are challenged to break, revisiting a pattern from a new perspective. So, when a lesson isn't quite integrated, definitely made me think of what we were talking about with the world in reverse in the past position. So, hopefully that resonated. The Oracle's message says, the appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you've gone backward, the truth is that you are standing at a higher level, looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom and lessons learned. So, pretty solid message there. And then, as far as the world in reverse, and then we see the Wheel of Fortune in the upright and under your future, that could point to exactly that energy. You know, like, okay, in the past you didn't learn the lesson, right? Maybe you handled a situation incorrectly. With the Wheel of Fortune, could just be saying that now the time has come for you guys to actually get it right. All right, the relationship message says, are you wondering, how did I get here again? Does something feel familiar right now in your dynamics with others? Maybe a little too familiar? Don't be surprised that you've found yourself repeating an old story with the same sort of person who may not look similar, but who attracted you because of your easy acquaintance with his or her qualities. Your relationship is a mix of what is good and what is potentially challenging. You have been drawn to this person through the perfection of Spirit's plan for your evolution. You may have circled back to an accustomed spot, a familiar place, but that's fine, as you get to do things again, only differently this time, for you learned something of great value since the last time around. How will you choose to behave now that you're aware? Remain curious and stay out of the blame game. So definitely a pretty positive message there. If this is a situation that you do have to work through, or again, like they said, if this is a pattern that you've repeated before, now you could just rely on what you have learned in past situations to help you move forward. And like I said, there's definitely some supportive energies for that. The prosperity message says, if you're in a scenario that appears to be an echo of something that's already happened in the past in your work life, it is because you're being invited to see what you couldn't see before. This is a perfect time for you to look at the deeper motives you have and your attraction to the opportunities and people who have entered your life to be part of your journey to prosperity. Who helps you navigate? Who sabotages you? Who supports you? What are the familiar signs and your responses to them when you find yourself in a repeat of a pattern of the past? It's a good time to get a coach or mentor who can help you see what you can't on your own. Repeat what works, not what doesn't. Then you will free yourself from the old cycles and cease going round and round. So hopefully that message resonated with you guys as well. And now we'll move on to the next oracle card, which is Fox Spirit. It says, think on your feet. There's the artwork, and the number is 27. Okay, it says, be alert now, for Fox Spirit has appeared, and you are meant to move swiftly. Let this clever spirit draw out your creativity as you adjust to rapidly changing circumstances with resilience, grace, and astuteness. Fox Spirit helps you to think on your feet, using your best judgment and wits to help you slip into a more advantageous situation. Now is not a time to hesitate, but a time for swift action of the mind, a time to think outside the box and notice the many ways in which you might make a move, aware of your surroundings and always clear on what you deserve and wish to co-create. Trust that your cleverness, guided by Fox Spirit, will serve you well. So pretty positive message there. And as far as the thinking on your feet quickly thing, I will say, given the fact that we do see the Two of Swords in the reverse, that's a good sign that you'll be able to do so. And the Magician, obviously, in the present. So timing-wise, it looks like things are lining up well for you guys in that regard. All right, and finally we have a Mudra card for you guys. So the Mudra you guys got for this month is the Vishuddha Chakra Mudra. And the keyword for it is communication. All right. So there's the info on it there if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to see what it has to say. But under benefits, it says improves the health of the thyroid and parathyroid glands, benefits the voice, reduces tension in the neck, improves communication with self and others, increases sensitivity to the thoughts and feelings of others. So if you feel like this is something that would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of the Mudra in the description video as always. Once again, like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying your holiday season and have a happy new year. I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.